Greetings and salutations. This is Akirishin. In this video, I will be featuring the Focke Wulf TA-152 German fighter. One of the principal features of this aircraft are the heavy cannons it wields. You have a 30mm Mk103H cannon. It has a very low rate of fire, and the cannons overheat quickly, but when that cannon connects, it can one-shot an aircraft. It also has two 30mm Mk103S cannons. I have gone with my typical fighter layout in terms of upgrades with the lightweight airframe 3, which gives a 3% increase to maneuverability in all axes. I've also of course gone with the control surface adjustment 3, which increases maneuverability in turns by 3%. This aircraft is fairly maneuverable, but it does need some help in that regard. And if you get in a turning fight with a turn and burn fighter, you're probably going to lose that fight. One thing that I have done differently with this aircraft in comparison to other fighters is I have gone with the gyroscopic gun sight 1. And the reason for that is that it can sometimes be a challenge to make contact with enemy aircraft with these cannons. So having the gyroscopic gun sight can be very helpful in that regard. In terms of ammunition, I have of course gone with the high explosive ammunition because of the high crit chance that ammunition offers. Now my layout in terms of consumables is very standard. I have gone with the automatic engine restarter. As you can see in the aircraft description, the engine is somewhat vulnerable on this aircraft, so having the automatic engine restarter I think helps to ameliorate that problem. I've also gone with the automatic fire extinguisher and the heavy-duty control surfaces skill. Again, that is to increase the maneuverability of this aircraft. In terms of pilot skills, I have gone with aerobatics expert and aerodynamics expert. The aerodynamics expert works well with the upgrades that we have on this aircraft, greatly increasing its maneuverability, which again this aircraft needs some assistance in that regard. It's a pretty large plane. As you can see, the wings are very long. Kind of reminds me of a flying pterodactyl. Specifications wise, like most fighters, this aircraft has low survivability, higher on the airspeed at 792, and its optimal airspeed is 512 kilometers per hour. It is a high altitude performer at 2,500 meters, and that is also indicated in the aircraft description, that it is very effective in intercepting aircraft at high altitude. So let's head into a battle and see how it does. Okay, so we have gotten the northern bridgehead map. We have a command center, which is where we will be going first. It is great to get the command center because it is going to call in bomber flights, which honestly I think that's more effective than the military base. While the military base sends rockets, having the command center call in bombers, first of all, if the bombers get to the target, they're going to wreak havoc. But more importantly, the enemy has to send aircraft and resources to deal with those bombers. And while they're doing that, you can be capturing other assets.
Let's roll.
So again, you don't want to get in a turning fight here because it's not the best turning aircraft. So you want to kind of stay more at distance and rely on your scope. So you can see right there the power of that aircraft. That NPC aircraft was just decimated, one-shotted. It's amazing to see an aircraft just disappear with one cannon shot.
Bomber squadron detected. Engage them immediately.
Fairly long range, these cannons, which is definitely one of the good features of them.
The airfield is ours. Utilize this advantage.
But as you can see, it's also can be quite difficult to hit targets. Now this is something you never want to do with a TA-152, is go head to head. Not a good decision. See if we can get that ME-262 to turn back around. Here he comes. Again, you see the power of those cannons. Now I'm laying on the extend flaps and also air brakes.
The command centers are under our headquarters established.
This 262 really wants to get revenge here. Well, that helped. So, I'm just trying to get some distance from this ground pounder here so that I can come around and put a shell into him. This guy's coming out of the sun. So I'm diving down here, trying to get under this aircraft's fire. Didn't work, but that's the approach that you want to take. That Yak 15, I'm currently trying to grind for that plane. Really looking forward to getting it. So we've already got 11 targets killed, which is excellent. Really shows off the strengths of this aircraft.
We'll soon be unable to provide support. Do you copy? Over.
Again, you just don't want to fly directly at a TA-152 as a general rule. Unless, of course, you collide with the TA-152. That works.
That's it. There's no way to break through for you now. You're on your own. Keep it up. Victory is almost ours.
Okay, so we've got an aircraft headed over here to the command center, so we're going to go and intercept it. This is a high altitude aircraft, so we should be able to get to this if it doesn't outrun us. The interesting thing about the TA-152's sighting ability is I often find it is easier to hit targets from a distance than it is when you're right with it, which doesn't make sense. You would think that the closer you are, the easier it is to... almost collided there. You would think the closer you are, the easier it is to hit the target, but with the TA-152, not so. Better to be further away. And that was our 14th kill in this aircraft. And that's with, I recall, only one death. And that was from a collision.
Head back home.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. Flying start, so we got 3 aerial targets in the first sortie, over 5,000 combat points, 75 capture points, Conqueror, highest grade, Flying Warrior badge, of course rank 1. So again, this particular sortie really demonstrates the strength of this aircraft and why it is such an enjoyable plane to fly. So again, 14 kills. $13,000 combat points, over 13,000. And let's see how our counterpart did. 28,000 in ground damage, 2 aircraft destroyed. Over 9,000 XP. This aircraft is fully researched, so we are getting some free XP on it. TA-152 has some really cool looking paint. This is the, let's see, that's the summer paint. There is winter, desert, and marine. Very sleek looking aircraft. Of course, I always have the Lucky 13 on my planes. I don't know if it helps or not, but can't hurt. And there you go. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you get an opportunity to fly the TA-152, I think you'll really enjoy it.